Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Well, normally people do mix Jamal and Kamal and all the time, so I'm quite used to it now. But it's okay, it's just to keep things on a humorous side. First of all, I would like to really thank you all for inviting me for this occasion and being part over here with representation from all over the side, Chamber, the IPO Pakistan, President and members of the Chamber. At the same time, UBG, the representation from the diplomatic corps, people who have come over here from different sectors of life and businesses and communities, academia, and many more. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. Well, the way this whole thing is going on, I was just trying to note a few points, and I was anticipating that I might take a very long time off my speech, which I normally do when politically we address. It's like taking 2-3 hours, but I'm sure you're not going to be taking that load of my boring sentences and speeches, but I'll try to shorten myself, precise it, and keep over focus on the subject and a little bit touch on a few of the issues which have been raised and some collaboration from our side. I had an experience of the word SDG really fascinates me a lot. And the reason it fascinates me is not because of any other reason, but I remained as a town committee chairman also in '98. And then from 2001 onwards till 2008, I was a district Nazim also. And while during this local government structure that we had, so the SDG program initiated this was quite in Pakistan and was going through Balochistan and Sindh and Punjab and many other places. And when still I'm hearing the SDG word and not being seen, it being completed in Pakistan, so it just reminds me how late we are in achieving these global indicators which Pakistan not only wants to fulfill, but it's our own need. The benchmarks we need to really follow up. The IPO day with SDGs and the initiative and creativity subject which we all talk about, it suits Pakistan the best. We have a big population where the youth is more. There's an urge of doing, and being Pakistan as a very resourceful country in many things. So what ideal environment we can have is just to streamline things, secure few things, and take a lead by really giving a proper direction to this young generation and to the things that we have. Easy said than done. I'm sure it's not that easy. Though we are rich in many things, we're intellectually rich, we are politically rich, we have a very rich land, we have rich people. Allah has blessed this country with a lot of resources which hardly many other countries can match. And it's not that we always talk about that Pakistan is rich in everything, it's a fact. Whenever we talk about things in Pakistan, it's a fact. We just see our neighborhood. Countries don't have an ideal environment or even atmosphere. They don't have the seasonal crops. Many don't have human resource. Many lack the food security. There are regions which don't have natural resource to even grow cotton, but they're still big cotton exporters and they're textile exporters. We have countries which are less than us, like Saudi Arabia and UAE. For them, livestock is a big challenge, but still they have one of the biggest dairy farms and dairy production and exports. Similarly, we go to regions where they don't produce minerals, but they have one of the best fine-tuning of refineries of minerals and many other products. So it's, if you just accumulate all these things within your own country, so it's a blessed country. And I do only 2, 3 places in the world which really match Pakistan and or we match them is Australia or US. So if you see US as a whole and Australia as a whole, the kind of resources and things those big kind of continental like size countries have, Pakistan being a very small country has it all within a very small space. But that's another question, then how we are utilizing it, how we are bringing this whole resource into use, and how we are channelizing it to bring prosperity, business, and many other things. It has been done in the past, when we recall 1960s and early 70s. So we could see like now people give example of aviation. Pakistan was a leading aviation country. People talk about banking, Pakistani business bankers, one of the best bankers in the region. When we talk about engineers and doctors and many other things, even to an extent of regional high-rise buildings, like Habib Bank building in Karachi was one of the tallest at that time. By building up big bridges, which we see recently in Middle East 10, 15 years back, we used to have them 60 years back. So it's not that we did not have all these things. Well, it's a big debate like how we came over here and how things happened, but that does happen to a nation. No, it's not only us. If you see around, like people have become part of global politics and economies and situations. So what I mean to say is, in order of having this whole thing, and now a time will be so much needed of guiding our upcoming future people and the youth and the generation that we have. So innovation, creativity is what is needed to Pakistan utmost at this time. And the reason I say it, these last 15, 20 years, which Pakistan could have achieved, we have not. And I don't want to go into a political debate of like, who did what and what went wrong. So we as a whole community, as a whole nation, to some extent are responsible for whatever we have done and what we have not done. But this is a high time of really gearing up things and trying to see what's ahead, how the global challenges are, what economies are thriving, what are the needs which are needed and obligatory in terms of business practices, how the environmental factors is reshaping the business policies, what are the prerequisites for our upcoming business community to really fulfill globally and be responsible as responsible global business people. So these all things, when combined together, definitely there's a big need of creativity, thinking, research-based work that we all need to do. And I'm really happy in this way that there is a big urge in people. There's a big urge of diversifying and trying to look for new opportunities which are lying globally. And what well can be done, like how the global phenomena of economies and connectivity has become so small, it has shrunk. Because of the reason, nothing else, but how fast our connectivity has become. So I'll just give you a small example. I was recently that's how innovation is working in Pakistan. It's strange and it's different, but it's good, it's in its own way. That I go to a very mountainous area where there's no road, there's no school, there are no SDGs basically. But there's mobile network. So the mobile network is there and the goals are not there. And I saw this young boy who was hardly 10 years old, he was carrying a phone. And I was quite surprised with his other colleagues, there were like 6 more boys, 8 years, 10 years, 11, and all of them were carrying phones. So I asked him, I said, what do you do with this phone? So he said, I use TikTok. And I just looked at his family and I was like, you don't have a school, he's not going to school, he doesn't have water, and in this mountain belt, the signals are coming, but he has a mobile. So I thought maybe he's not saying the right thing, so I called him up and I said, show me your account. So he showed me his account and I could see he had 400 followers. And I was just thinking to myself, like, this is what global connectivity is doing, which we are unaware of. But the right people, the people who are going to be successful, are going to be those who make a benchmark, make a solid platform. If your youth has a solid platform, if it's there with knowledge, if it's there with education, with intellect, and with capacity, then this platform of high-speed connectivity will take you to another level of achieving things. But if your base is hollow, so this thing can take you anywhere else. Because the access to that child, the gap in between that phone and its eyes is very small. And the phone is the most closest to him or her. So it's not only the men, the women too, like I've seen the women also using it. So that day I was quite surprised because of the fact, no matter what we do, but there are certain things which are happening themselves, which you cannot control. As a policy, government doesn't want that to happen. As a parent, you don't want to have your 8-year-old girl or boy to have a phone, but the trend, the need, the social pressure is creating that demand. So I think so, it has its plus signs, but at the same time, the plus only sign which I had in my heart, in my mind, I was like, at least this phone is kind of making this boy or girl a little literate. By searching, by seeing the web and things, okay, what is happening globally, what is happening regionally, that's a little positive sign, but on the other side, it can have negative impacts also. So I think we need to like diversify a lot. Pakistan has to rethink its overall how we address the global challenges and all, especially who else can do it better than the people sitting over here. You people have mastered the skill of business, and I don't have to like tell you how it's done. But one thing I would definitely like to say over here, it's a very challenging time for Pakistan, how we penetrate back into the business economy, global economy, which we are losing day by day. There's one side where we have all the demands that we have, which can make us competitive in marketing and all. And that is basically, we talk about subsidies, we talk about facilitation, we talk about government giving us support. But at the same time, the government has a very weak platform of really building up all these things. So what we have in the last few 1.5 months, which at least I have perceived and which I think it's not that there are many things that we can't do, but there are a lot of things which are not being done good. So we need to like have this governance, again, when it comes to SDGs. So I'm trying to relate all together, like how good governance really affects your economy also. So if you don't have a good governance structure, and if you don't have a good governance mechanism which can really deliver all those goods to your people and to the environment which is needed by the business community, by a trader, by your people, and by the masses, it's very impossible to progress. So we have to really make a good governance structure so that not only we fulfill the needs of our people, of our business environment in that particular area, but at the same time improving the standards of health, standards of education, standards of civil rights, standards of judiciary, standards of having the women rights and women development, and many such factors from poverty to many such factors which are needed to be brought to that level. So in my point of view, we really need to work hard with the provinces, especially so that they realize how important it's for them to be really coming up in the front and taking lead in this, and the federal government supporting them. So I feel today's day really reminds us again and again every year that how much we have achieved in that, how much as a nation, how much as a government, how much as a provincial and district governments we have. So this need has to be revived back, has to be reminded back again and again to our stakeholders that we really need to focus on certain things which we have neglected for the last 10, 15 years or more. The government has initiated a very good program which is called Helping in SDGs, like the SDGs lists were there, and then there were parliamentarians who were supposed to fulfill the SDGs through specific projects. But somehow that's how in Pakistan it happens. Like we were just limited to 4, 5 things. That's how our constituencies are run. It's like making like streets, giving a little bit of water supplies, and investing in 2, 3 more other sectors. All the rest sectors are neglected. So I feel by the new government which is in place, if we have to really fund through the SDG platform, which we have created as a federal government, then it should be as per the need of that policy is, not as per my need, what I need in my constituency, for political reasons. So I feel it's very important keeping that factor in mind. The young generation, definitely, there are a lot of questions of how they see their future. Like I said again and again, I want to repeat it, not because of the fact it's good to be a patriot, but at the same time, Pakistan has a very good balance sheet. That's something else that we have not capitalized this balance sheet of resource and weather and human and all the things which are required by any nation. But things are coming up. We have a lot of challenges. The biggest challenge, like I said, it's a governance challenge, which we still are not realizing. The second is like human resource and capacity. That's one of the biggest challenges again we have as a nation. The level of capacity also. It's not just being literate. Like the quality of that being literate has to improve in Pakistan to a very big level. And at the same time, we have to really restructure our education, health, and many other sectors in Pakistan so that in coming years, in coming generations, we can really facilitate the people of Pakistan what is required for the upcoming challenges. I want to touch base with a few other things which was raised over here, but at the same time, I want to just add a few things. Things are going very fast globally, like I've said, in any sector. Pakistan being as one time the leading exporters of cotton in the region in 1970s. And now we're trying to be a net importer of cotton for textile and apparel and many other things. Being a country which is enriched with agriculture and water, we are still thinking of importing wheat to fulfill the needs of our people. Yes, in some sectors we have gone ahead, and I think so that's the key, and that's the key I want to address just because going a little off the subject of the day, but because that we have a community sitting over here, it's very important how we diversify keeping the needs of the demand which is there in the global market now. It's not what we want to produce. We have to produce what the world needs from us. And that's very important. And that's how things are going forward. We've seen a surge in agro products in Pakistan. Sesame seed, I don't think so anybody has ever thought of sesame seed going from 50, 60, $100 million to $400 million, though it's a not very small number globally. But at the same time, it's a big thing achievement for Pakistan where the numbers are going many folds high. Maize, again touching to $450 million, and as compared to the last year, maybe 150. Onions, banana, all these things. We have never thought of Pakistan can really export anything in these sectors, but now it's happening. So these are those potential areas where Pakistan has to, or the people have to research, look for markets, because textile has been there for a very long time. I don't know how textile is going to go forward, because the global trends are very changing. There was a time when only cotton was a product of use, but now it's man-made cotton, which is more popular. How are we diversifying in that? That's a big question, and how we can benefit from that too. Human resource globally is a big challenge for many countries. One of the best high in technology countries, Japan, is facing a big human resource shortage. In Europe, we see many countries facing shortage of not only human resource, but at the same time, the wages standards which we have in Pakistan is pretty low as compared to any European country or even China. Like there was a time people used to say China has, low cost labor, but I don't think so. Now it's increasing day by day, or it has already increased to a very big level. So how Pakistan can really infiltrate to these markets, try to see where its potential is, how Africa is coming up, how we can have a role in really exporting and making trade with Africa is a big opportunity. Central Asia, I guess, being one of the countries which is deadlocked with its neighbors, it's a very big disadvantage to us. That on one part on our eastern borders we are closed, on western border we are closed, with Central Asia we are closed. So there are a lot of things we are closed with. So in all these aspects, I think so there's a rethinking of how to revive the economy of Pakistan. And the reason I'm talking about these subjects to this platform is that I do see people, and I do see the subject involved in this also, is the only factor just because the utmost requirement at this time, what Pakistan has, its economy, nothing else. If you have an economy which can sustain a 250 population, it's a big challenge for us. And the government is trying to do a few things, and I would not like to just go into what we have done or what we are doing, but there are a lot of things that we are doing. Just because they were touched by the chambers, so I'll just very briefly just say a few things. That yes, definitely we're going to support you in that expo center that Islamabad wants to plan it, and we'll push it in we're doing one in Quetta, though it's very late, but we're going to support the Islamabad one. Industrial area expansion, if there's a proposal, how it can be done, what exactly those regions or areas are. As you know, Islamabad works a little different than any other place of Pakistan where CDA is quite strong enough and the authority, Islamabad Capital Authority. So we need to see those options of seeing the green Islamabad and then industrial Islamabad, they're all quite close to each other. But a proposal can come from your side and the ministry will pursue it too. IT Park idea, great. I do second it. The chambers and standing committees, that's one thing which we can floor to the chambers. Our colleagues are there in the Senate and National Assembly, so it's a good thing just to have participation from chamber, at least Islamabad chamber or Pindi chamber were just close by. So that or even by invitation to every standing committee that they have. It's good to go abroad. Definitely, it's important for us to market ourselves. We should not be sitting around thinking people will come to us. We have gold reserves and we have copper reserves. We have the fourth biggest livestock potential. We have human resource. So we need to go abroad and do a lot of things ourselves. And yes, I'll be looking forward to that seminar because this is not the seminar function where I'll be I'm talking all these things, but it's my first visit over here in this thing. So I'd like to be in a session which even is for hours and hours. That's okay with me, so that the more we hear from you, the better it is, because you're the people who know your work. Yes, there are challenges, there are a lot of things, there are issues, and we would like to hear it from you. We are in the phase of making the budget, so even I just had a meeting of the tariff board meeting we had today, and we'll be having several more meetings of the tariff board also. We had a program in Islamabad also where we invited the business community so that they can give their input. So it's very important for us at this point to take the input from you all and then try to bring a decision making which is mutual. and which can really benefit you all. In the 2 years thing, well, I think so. That was something which was again decided in one of the standing committees, and they come up with this proposal that chamber president should be for 2 years. And I was discussing it with a colleague of mine, and I said, this is the only position which people want to keep for a lesser period of time. And normally people say, make it 3 years, make it 4 years, and the chamber is like, no, we want it for 1 year. I guess the reason behind I don't know if it's true or not, but you will know it more. They were saying that, by the time you roam around and meet your community, you're hardly left with 2 months. So that's why there was the idea was, few months are taken to mingle around, to know everybody, and by the time you've understood things better, or you have developed that relationship with the chamber or with another chamber or with the ministry or with the government. So by that time you have to go back. So that extra period of time is necessary so that now you utilize your experience and your PR that you've developed to benefit your chamber also. But again, if that proposal again comes from your side, we'll try to, because it needs legislation, so we're going to take it over there. In the end, once again, I'm really thankful to all of you for really inviting me over here. It was a good opportunity of interacting on 2-3 subjects or a few more subjects which we have done over here. And anytime you will be, I'll be required for any such assistance or programs, please, inshallah, I'll be making sure that I do come in, interact maximum in any affair which can really benefit in terms of the subjects which are there, to improve the overall structural things which are needed to be done in achieving the IP and the SDGs, interacting with the provincial governments. Inshallah, our good officers will be there to support you also in there. Thank you very much.